All right, let's dive into a concept that is honestly one of the most personal and transformative journeys you can take: shadow work. And this isn't just about self-improvement. Nope, it's about genuine self-realization. So let's explore what that really means.
And let's just start right there, because that quote, it's the whole key. It's the entire reason this work matters so much. The stuff we don't look at, the things we don't acknowledge, they don't just vanish. They're actually running the show from behind the curtain.
So this unseen controller, what is that really? Well, imagine parts of you are making your decisions, sparking your reactions, and literally shaping your day-to-day reality, all without you ever consciously signing off on it. That's the incredible power of the unexamined self.
You know, we all kind of hope that if we just push down an uncomfortable feeling or an awkward memory, it'll just poof, disappear. But it's actually the complete opposite. Those things just go underground, into our subconscious, where they influence pretty much everything we do.
So that brings us right to the big question. What exactly is shadow work? It sounds kind of dark and mysterious, right? But at its core, it's actually a really direct and, believe it or not, empowering process.
Here it is, plain and simple. It's the practice of turning around and finally looking at the things we'd much rather not see. It's about exploring those aspects of our personality, our history, that we've kind of shoved into a filing cabinet in the back of our minds. It's all about bringing what's hidden into the light.
And this isn't some abstract idea. This stuff shows up in your real everyday life. Think about it. That sudden flash of anger you feel when someone interrupts you, that's an emotional trigger. That's a little breadcrumb from your shadow. Same with finding yourself in the same kind of bad relationship over and over, or having that one automatic reaction you always regret later. These are all signposts, pointing back to the parts of us that are calling out for a little bit of attention.
Okay, so if these hidden patterns are the issue, what's the fix? Well, it starts with one single incredibly powerful tool that every single one of us has: awareness. This right here, this is the turning point for everything.
Just take a second to really let that sink in. The simple act of noticing, of just observing a pattern as it's happening without judging yourself for it, that is the first and honestly the most important step towards changing anything.
And this is the perfect metaphor, isn't it? Shadow is literally just the absence of light. So when you bring your conscious awareness to these hidden parts of yourself, you're shining a light on them. And in that light, they lose their power to control you from the darkness.
This is the magic moment. This is where the real shift happens. That reaction that used to be a blind, automatic impulse, suddenly there's a little bit of space around it. You can see it coming. You can name it. You recognize it for what it is, a pattern, not you.
And once you can recognize these patterns, something incredible happens. You gain the ability to finally break the cycles that might have been running your life for years.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, that's life on autopilot, right? Unconscious reactions just lead to the same repeating cycles and the same predictable outcomes. But when you add awareness, everything changes. That reaction gets replaced by the power to just pause. The repeating cycle gets replaced by the clarity to actually see it. And the predictable outcome, that gets replaced by the most powerful thing of all, the ability to choose.
And making a different choice, well, that's an active process. Awareness gives you the tools, but you're the one who has to use them to stop the old machine and start consciously building a new way of being.
So this is what that path looks like in practice. Once you see a pattern, you can choose to stop giving it your energy. You learn to respond from this new place of awareness, instead of just reacting from old programming. That's how you actually transmute the past, not by erasing it, but by changing your relationship to it. And from that new ground, you get to consciously rebuild.
But we have to be honest here. This path, this journey of self-realization, it's not always a walk in the park. It takes real courage, and it comes with its own set of challenges. But here's the secret. The challenges are actually part of the transformation.
Yeah, of course there are going to be moments of discomfort when you face things you've been avoiding your whole life. You might even go through periods where you feel a bit isolated as you start to outgrow old dynamics. It's a vulnerable road, for sure. You'll start seeing people, situations, and even yourself with a brand new clarity that can be, well, a little jarring at first.
But here's the reframe. That clarity, that's the whole goal. And the solitude isn't a punishment. It's the quiet space where you finally find your own strength and hear your own true voice. It's your workshop.
And as you keep walking this path, something really amazing starts to happen. All the old stories you told yourself, the limiting beliefs, the illusions you had about who you were and how the world works, they just start to dissolve.
And you start to remember something fundamental.
You were never, ever broken. Those parts you hid away in the shadows weren't flaws. They were just pieces of you, waiting to be understood and brought back home.
You see that you were never really lost. Every single step, even the ones that felt like they were in total darkness, they were all part of the journey, leading you right back to yourself.
And that's the ultimate truth of it all. Struggle, the pain, the repeating cycles, it was never a sign that you were broken or lost. It was simply a sign that you were unaware. And awareness, well, awareness changes everything.
And that's really the question we'll leave you with. Because once you gain the clarity to see the patterns that have been quietly running your life, you also gain the incredible power of choice. So the question is no longer if you can change, it's what new path will you consciously choose to create for yourself.